Hi guys, it's Mrs. Nash, and today we are going to be talking about how to divide 3 or 4 digit numbers by a 1 digit number using the box method. So let's start with this problem, 693 divided by 3, okay? Now if I'm going to rewrite this problem, okay, so I can do the box method, I'm going to write the number 693, and I'm going to space it out like this. And I'm going to draw my divider and put the 3 here, okay? Now, if you remember, we talked about using the acronym of DMSB, divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down, okay? So we're going to start here with the D, and we're going to divide, okay? So when I divide, I'm going to look at the 3, and I'm going to look at this first number here, which is the 6, okay? Now, I'm thinking, how many groups of 3 can I take out of the number 6? Okay. Now I know by my math facts that 3 times 2 is 6, so I'm going to be able to take out 2 groups of 3. Now I'm going to go to multiply. Okay, so I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, which is 6. All right, now I'm going to subtract. Since I am taking 2 groups of 3 away from this 6, I need to subtract 6 minus 6, which gives me 0. Okay. Now, in this case, I don't have any number to carry over into the next column. So I'm going to draw my lines here for my boxes, okay? And so normally what I would have you do is if we had a number left over, I would bring it over and write it here in front of the 9. I'm going to do the 0 just so you can visually see what's going to happen, okay? So now I have 3 and 9. Okay, so I'm seeing how many groups of 3 can I take out of the number 9, okay? Now, I know that 3 times 3 is 9, so I'm going to be able to take out 3 groups of 9. So I divided. Now I'm going to multiply, okay? Multiply 3 times 3, which is 9. And then I'm going to subtract, because I'm taking away 3 groups of 3 from this 9, which will give me a 0. Now, again, I need to bring over the 0, okay? And I have the number 3 here. So I know that 3 times 1 is 3 using my identity property of multiplication. So I'm going to write a 1 up here. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm multiplying. Then I'm going to subtract. I have a 0, okay? And I don't have anything left over, so I don't have a remainder, okay? So my answer to this problem is 231. Now, if I want to go back and check my answer before to see if I did it correctly, okay, I would use the inverse operation, okay, which is going to be multiplication. So I'd actually take my answer that I just got, which is 231, and I'm going to multiply that number by the number 3, okay? And when I do that, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 2 is 6. I get 693. 693 was the number that I started with up here, and so I know that this answer is correct. Okay. Now, what happens though when I have an answer that's going to have a remainder? Okay, so let's say I have the problem 547 divided by 5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my lines here to divide up in for my box. And then over here, I'm going to write DMSB. So this is a reminder that I'm going to divide, multiply, subtract, and bring over, okay? So I'm going to start here with the 5, okay? I can take one group of 5 away from 5, so I'm going to write 1 up here. Divide. Now I need to multiply, okay? If I multiply, okay, I'm going to multiply 1 times 5, which is 5. I'm going to draw my subtraction line there. Now I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0, okay? And then I need to bring over. So I'm going to bring over this 0, okay? Now looking here, I have the number 4, okay? I'm going to go back to my divide step, and I'm going to see, can I take a group of 5 away from the number 4? In this case, no, I can't. So I'm going to write a 0 up here. And I'm going to subtract 0 because I'm not taking anything away from this group of 4, okay? So now I'm on the B step, I need to bring over. So I'm going to bring over this 4 up here, and this gives me the number 47. Now I'm going to go back to the top and I'm going to divide, okay? If I look at 5 and the number 47, okay, I know from my basic math facts that 5 times 9 is 45. So I'm going to be able to take 9 groups away from this 5. Now I'm going to multiply 9 times 5. 9 times 5 is 45. And I'm going to draw my subtraction sign here. Then I subtract 47 minus 45. 47 minus 45 is 2. And this is the last, I don't have any more numbers over here. This is my last step. So I'm going to have the answer of 109 with a remainder of 2 because I have 2 left over here. Okay. Now, if I wanted to do the inverse operation to check this answer, okay, I would do 109 times 5. 4 times 5, or sorry, 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 0 is 0. I have to add 4 because I carried 4 over. And then I have 5 times 1, which is 5. And then I need to add my 2 here. And if I do that, I end up with 547. Now, 547 was the original number that I started with, so I know that my answer is correct. Let's try one more. Let's do 789 divided by 7. And for this problem here, I'm actually going to do it in a different color so you can visualize this a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my lines here to separate my columns. Okay. And then over here in the corner, I'm going to write my DMSB just as a reminder of the steps that I'm going to follow when I do this problem. Okay. Now, D stands for divide. So I'm going to start here. 7 divided by 7. I can actually take one group of 7 away from 7. Then I'm going to multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. And I'm going to subtract. Now, I'm on the S step, subtract, and that gives me 0. B is bring over. So I'm going to bring the 0 over here. And then I'm going to go back to the top and I start all over, divide, okay? 7 and 8. I can take one group of 7 away from 8, so I'm going to write 1 up here. 1, now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. Then I need to subtract. 8 minus 7 gives me 1. And then I'm going to bring over. So I'm going to bring the 1 up here. Now I'm going to start all over, divide. I have the number 19 here, and I'm looking to see how many groups of 7 I can take out of 19. In this case, I can take 2 groups of 7 away from 19. Then I need to multiply to figure out how many I'm taking away from 19. 2 times 7 is 14, so I'm going to write 14 here. Then I need to subtract 19 minus 14. 19 minus 14 is 5. And I don't have any more numbers here left over, so I'm actually going to bring up the 5 as my remainder, and I'm going to have the number of 112 with a remainder of 5. Now, if I wanted to check to see if my math has been done correctly, I'm going to use the inverse operation, which is multiplication. So I'm going to start with the quotient here without the remainder, and I'm going to do 112 times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. I need to bring over a 1. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1 more is 8. And then 7 times 1 is 7. And then I need to add my remainder of 5, which gives me 789. And 789 was the number that I started with, so I know that I've done my math correctly.